Can you imagine a world without the internet? A world where information wasn't instantly accessible? Where communication wasn't as simple as tapping a screen? Take a moment to really consider that. Try to peel back the layers of our modern, hyper-connected lives and envision a time before the digital revolution truly took hold. It's a challenging exercise, isn't it? For many of us, that is a very difficult question to think about. We've grown up with the internet as an integral part of our existence. It's woven into the fabric of our daily routines, our social interactions, and even our sense of self. The very notion of disconnecting, of stepping back into a pre-internet era, can feel almost alien. It requires a conscious effort to reimagine a world so fundamentally different from the one we know. It's like trying to imagine a day without sunlight or a city without streets. The internet has become such a foundational element of our modern world that its absence is almost unimaginable. It's the invisible infrastructure that supports so much of what we do, from the mundane to the extraordinary. To picture life without it is to picture a world operating under a completely different set of rules. Today, the internet is everywhere. It's a ubiquitous presence, a constant hum in the background of our lives. We take it for granted, often without even realizing how deeply it has permeated every aspect of our existence. It's the air we breathe in the digital age, the lifeblood of the information economy. It is in our phones, our computers, our schools, and our homes. From the moment we wake up and check our emails to the moment we fall asleep watching a streaming video, the internet is there, facilitating, connecting, and informing. It's a constant companion, a silent partner in our daily adventures. We use it to talk to our friends no matter where they are in the world. Instant messaging, video calls, and social media have collapsed geographical boundaries, allowing us to maintain close relationships with people across continents. The ability to connect with loved ones at any time from anywhere is a truly remarkable feat of modern technology. To learn new things, expanding our knowledge and skills with unprecedented ease, online courses, educational videos, and vast digital libraries have democratized access to information, empowering individuals to pursue their passions and learn at their own pace. The internet has become a global classroom, open to anyone with a desire to learn, to watch our favorite shows, enjoying a seemingly endless stream of entertainment at our fingertips. Streaming services have revolutionized the way we consume media, offering a vast catalog of movies, TV shows, and documentaries available on demand. The days of waiting for a specific broadcast time are long gone, and even to order our food. With a few taps on our smartphones, we can have almost any type of cuisine delivered directly to our doorstep. Online ordering and food delivery apps have transformed the restaurant industry, providing convenience and choice to consumers like never before. It feels like a natural part of our lives, an invisible force that connects us all. It's a global network that transcends borders and cultures, uniting people from all walks of life in a shared digital space. This interconnectedness has fostered collaboration, innovation, and a sense of global community. But it wasn't always this way, you know? There was a time before smartphones, before social media, before even personal computers were commonplace. A time when information traveled at a much slower pace, and communication required a greater degree of effort and patience. There was a time, not so long ago, when the world was a much bigger and sometimes lonelier place. Distances felt greater, connections were harder to maintain, and access to information was limited. The world felt less immediate, less interconnected, and perhaps, in some ways, more mysterious. Let's travel back in time for a moment. Let's step into a world where the internet is just a distant dream, a futuristic fantasy yet to be realized. Let's try to understand what life was like before this digital revolution transformed our world. Picture your parents, or maybe even your grandparents, when they were students like you. Imagine them navigating their academic lives without the convenience of online resources, digital libraries, or instant communication. Their educational experience was undoubtedly very different from yours. If they needed to research for a school project, they couldn't just type a question into a search engine like Google. The concept of instantly accessing a vast repository of information with a few keystrokes was simply unimaginable. Research was a much more laborious and time-consuming process. No, they had to go to the library. The library was the primary source of information, the central hub for research and learning. It was a place of quiet contemplation, where knowledge was carefully curated and meticulously organized. They would spend hours looking through thick, heavy books called encyclopedias. These massive volumes contained a wealth of information, but accessing it required patience and perseverance. Flipping through countless pages, searching for specific facts and figures, was a common experience for students of that era. They would search through card catalogs, those meticulously organized systems of index cards that served as the library's search engine. Each card represented a book, and finding the right card was the first step in locating the information they needed, which were small drawers filled with index cards just to find the right book. These drawers, filled with countless cards, represented a significant investment of time and effort on the part of librarians, who meticulously maintained the system to ensure that information was accessible to all. It was a slow process, a real treasure hunt for information. The thrill of discovery was often accompanied by the frustration of dead ends and the sheer volume of material to sift through. But the reward of finding that elusive piece of information made the effort worthwhile. Communication was also very different. The speed and ease of instant messaging and email were simply unimaginable. Connecting with people, especially those who lived far away, required a different approach, a different level of commitment. A long-distance phone call was expensive, often costing several dollars per minute. This meant that conversations were carefully considered and brevity was valued. Phone calls were reserved for important news and special occasions. A special treat reserved for important news. The anticipation of a phone call from a loved one was palpable, and the connection felt more meaningful because of the effort and expense involved. It was a time when communication was valued, not just for its speed, but for its significance. Writing letters was the most common way to stay in touch with family and friends who lived far away. The art of letter writing was a cherished skill, a way to express thoughts and feelings in a thoughtful and deliberate manner. Letters were more than just messages, they were tangible expressions of connection. You would write your thoughts on paper, carefully choosing your words and crafting your sentences. The act of writing itself was a form of meditation, a way to slow down and reflect on your experiences. Put it in an envelope, stick a stamp on it, and entrust it to the postal service. The simple act of mailing a letter was a ritual, a symbolic gesture of connection and communication, and wait for weeks, sometimes even months, for a reply. The anticipation of receiving a letter was a powerful emotion, a reminder that someone, somewhere, was thinking of you. The arrival of the postman was a moment of excitement, a chance to reconnect with loved ones and hear their stories. This world without instant connection had its own rhythm. Life moved at a slower, more deliberate pace. There was more time for reflection, for contemplation, for simply being present in the moment. People connected in different ways, often more face-to-face within their local communities. Stronger bonds were forged through shared experiences, local events, and simple acts of neighborliness. Community was not just a concept, it was a lived reality. News traveled slowly, relying on traditional media outlets and word of mouth. The dissemination of information was a more curated process, with journalists and editors acting as gatekeepers, delivered by the morning newspaper or the evening television broadcast. These were the primary sources of information about the world beyond your immediate surroundings. The news cycle was slower, more deliberate, and less prone to the instant reactions that characterize our modern media landscape. If you missed it, you had to wait for the next day. There was no scrolling through endless news feeds or catching up on breaking stories online. Patience was a virtue, and the ability to wait for information was a necessary skill. Entertainment meant gathering around the radio or the TV at a specific time to catch your favorite program. Shared viewing experiences were common, fostering a sense of community and connection within families and neighborhoods. There was no binge-watching or on-demand content. You had to wait patiently for your favorite shows to air, and you couldn't fast-forward through commercials. This scarcity of entertainment options made each viewing experience more special and memorable. Life moved at a different pace, a rhythm dictated by the seasons, the cycles of nature, and the limitations of technology. There was a greater emphasis on living in the present moment, on appreciating the simple things in life. A pace dictated by physical distance and the time it took for information and messages to travel from one place to another. The constraints of geography and technology shaped the way people lived, worked, and interacted with the world around them. It was a world of waiting, a world of patience, a world where instant gratification was not an option and where the ability to delay gratification was a valuable asset. In that not-so-distant past, a world that seems almost unimaginable to many of us today. The idea of a global network connecting billions of people in an instant would have sounded like something from a science fiction movie. It was a concept so far removed from the reality of the time that it would have been difficult to even comprehend. The thought that you could see and talk to someone on the other side of the planet, in real time, from a small device in your hand, was pure fantasy. It was a vision of the future that seemed impossibly distant, a dream that belonged to the realm of science fiction. The concept of having the entire world's library of knowledge available at your fingertips was unimaginable. The sheer volume of information, the speed of access, and the global reach of the internet would have been beyond the wildest dreams of even the most visionary thinkers. But as we know, that fantasy became a reality. The impossible became possible, and the world was forever changed. This incredible transformation didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process, a series of incremental innovations that built upon each other over time. It was the result of big dreams, clever ideas, and the hard work of many brilliant people who saw the potential for a more connected world. These pioneers of the digital age laid the foundation for the internet as we know it today, transforming the way we live, work, and interact with each other. They dared to imagine a future that seemed impossible, and they dedicated their lives to making that vision a reality. So, where did this magical thing called the internet come from? It's a question that many of us might ponder, especially as we rely on this incredible tool every single day. We use it for everything: communication, entertainment, education, and so much more. But have you ever stopped to think about its origins? What series of events, what ingenious ideas, led to the creation of this global network that connects billions of people across the planet? It didn't just appear out of nowhere. The internet story is a fascinating journey through technological innovation, strategic necessity, and collaborative effort. It's a tale of brilliant minds coming together to solve complex problems, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible, and ultimately creating something that would revolutionize the world. The story begins in a time of great tension, during the Cold War. This period of geopolitical struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union was characterized by an arms race, ideological conflict, and a constant sense of impending global catastrophe. It was a time when nations were locked in a battle for supremacy, not just on the battlefield, but also in the realms of science and technology, between the United States and the Soviet Union. This rivalry spurred significant investments in research and development, as both sides sought to gain a technological edge over the other. The development of the internet, in many ways, was a direct result of this competitive environment. In the late 1950s and 1960s, a lot of worry was in the air. The threat of nuclear war loomed large, and the potential for devastating attacks on critical infrastructure was a major concern for governments and military strategists alike. This fear fueled the search for more resilient and secure communication systems. The American military was concerned about their communication systems. They recognized that their existing infrastructure was vulnerable, and that a single, well-placed attack could cripple their ability to respond to a crisis. The need for a more robust and survivable network became increasingly urgent. They relied on a centralized system, where information flowed through a central hub or command center. This design made the network efficient under normal circumstances, but it also created a single point of failure that could be easily exploited by an enemy, which meant that if one main point was attacked or destroyed, the entire network could fail. Imagine the consequences: vital communications cut off, military operations hampered, and the nation left vulnerable in a time of crisis. This was a risk that the military could not afford to take. They needed a better way, a stronger way, to communicate. A system that could withstand attacks, adapt to changing conditions, and ensure that critical information could always reach its intended destination. The challenge was significant, but the stakes were even higher. They needed a system that could survive, a network that had no single point of failure, a network that could automatically reroute traffic around damaged areas, ensuring that communication lines remained open even in the face of adversity. This required a completely new approach to network design. This was the problem that needed a solution, a problem that demanded innovative thinking, cutting-edge technology, and a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. The task fell to a group of brilliant scientists and engineers who were determined to find a way to build a more resilient and secure communication network. The solution came in the form of a revolutionary idea, an idea that would transform the way we think about networks and communication, and that would ultimately lay the foundation for the internet as we know it today. This idea was so groundbreaking that it would change the course of history. A group of scientists and engineers imagined a new kind of network, a network that was not centralized but distributed, not fragile but resilient, not vulnerable but secure. They envisioned a network that could withstand even the most devastating attacks and continue to function effectively. Instead of having one central hub, this network would be decentralized, with multiple pathways for information to travel. This meant that if one part of the network was damaged, the information could simply be rerouted through another path, ensuring that it still reached its destination. Like a spider's web, each connection in the web would be capable of carrying information, and the web itself would be designed to adapt to changing conditions and unexpected disruptions. This decentralized structure was the key to the network's resilience. Information would be broken down into small pieces, or packets. This was another crucial element of the design. By dividing information into smaller units, the network could transmit it more efficiently and reliably. Each packet could travel on its own, finding its own path through the web of connections. This meant that packets could take different routes to reach the same destination, further enhancing the network's resilience. If one path was congested or unavailable, the packets could simply find another way. If one path was blocked or destroyed, the packet could simply find another way to reach its destination. This ability to dynamically reroute traffic was a game changer, making the network far more robust and survivable than anything that had come before. This brilliant concept was called packet switching. It was a fundamental departure from traditional circuit switching, which required a dedicated connection between 2 points for the duration of a communication session. Packet switching allowed for more efficient use of network resources and greater flexibility in routing traffic. It was the fundamental idea, the core building block, that would eventually become the internet we use today. Without packet switching, the internet would not be possible. It is the technology that allows us to seamlessly transmit data across vast distances, connecting people and devices all over the world. It was designed for survival, for resilience. It was built to withstand the challenges of a hostile environment and to ensure that communication could continue even in the face of adversity. This focus on resilience is what makes the internet such a powerful and enduring technology. This idea led to a project funded by the U.S. Department of Defense's Advanced Research Projects Agency, which recognized the potential of packet switching to revolutionize military communications. They saw the opportunity to create a network that could withstand a nuclear attack and maintain critical communication links, or ARPA. ARPA was a pioneering agency that played a crucial role in funding and supporting groundbreaking research in computer science and other fields. Its investment in packet switching and network technologies would have a profound impact on the development of the internet. They called this new network ARPANET. The ARPANET was the first operational packet switching network, and it served as a testbed for many of the technologies that would later become the foundation of the internet. It connected a handful of universities and research institutions across the United States. In 1969, a historic moment happened. A moment that would mark the beginning of a new era in communication and information sharing. It was a moment that would forever change the way we interact with the world. Researchers at 2 different universities, UCLA and Stanford, located hundreds of miles apart, were preparing to conduct a groundbreaking experiment. They were about to attempt to send the very first message over the ARPANET, connecting their computers and ushering in a new age of digital communication. Sent the very first message over this new network. This message, though simple, represented a monumental leap forward in technology and communication. It was a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of the researchers who had worked tirelessly to bring the ARPANET to life. They tried to type the word login, a simple command to initiate a connection between the 2 computers. The researchers held their breath as they typed each letter, hoping that the system would work as planned. The system crashed after the first 2 letters, a frustrating but ultimately minor setback in the grand scheme of things. Early computer systems were often prone to glitches and errors, and the ARPANET was no exception. So the first message ever sent was simply "low." A humble beginning perhaps, but a significant milestone nonetheless. It was a proof of concept, a demonstration that the ARPANET could actually transmit data between distant computers. It might not sound very impressive, but it was a monumental achievement. It was a moment of triumph for the researchers, a validation of their hard work and dedication. It was also a sign of things to come, a glimpse into the future of communication and information sharing. It was proof that the concept worked, proof that packet switching was a viable technology, and that a decentralized network could be used to transmit data reliably and efficiently. This success paved the way for further development and expansion of the ARPANET. Two computers, hundreds of kilometers apart, had just talked to each other through this new decentralized network. This was a revolutionary concept at the time, and it opened up a world of possibilities for remote collaboration, data sharing, and communication. The first spark had been lit. The spark that would ignite the digital revolution and transform the world as we know it. The spark that would eventually lead to the creation of the internet. For many years, this network remained a tool for a very small group of people. It was not yet the global phenomenon that it is today. Access to the ARPANET was restricted to a select few who were involved in research and development. It was used mainly by scientists who were eager to share their research findings and collaborate on projects with colleagues at other institutions. The ARPANET provided a valuable platform for accelerating scientific discovery. Computer experts who were constantly working to improve the network's performance and functionality. They were the pioneers of the internet, pushing the boundaries of what was possible with computer networking. And military personnel who relied on the ARPANET for secure communication and coordination. The military's initial interest in the ARPANET stemmed from its potential to provide a more resilient and survivable communication system in the event of a nuclear attack. They used it to share research data, send electronic mail or email, a revolutionary new way to communicate at the time, and collaborate on projects from different locations, breaking down geographical barriers and fostering innovation. It was a closed community, a digital world for academics and government researchers, a place where they could freely exchange ideas and collaborate on cutting-edge research. The ARPANET fostered a spirit of innovation and collaboration that would ultimately lead to the development of the internet. It was powerful, but it was not for everyone. The ARPANET was a specialized tool for a specific group of users, and it was not yet accessible to the general public. The technology was still in its early stages of development, and it would take many more years before it would become the ubiquitous network that we know today. The internet, as we know it, was still just a seed, growing slowly in the protected environment of university labs and government facilities, nurtured by the dedication and vision of a small group of researchers and engineers, waiting for the right moment to sprout and grow into the global phenomenon it is today. A phenomenon that has transformed the way we live, work, and interact with the world. A phenomenon that continues to evolve and shape our future. For a long time, the internet, in its nascent stages, felt like a secret club, shrouded in mystery and accessible only to a select few. It wasn't the ubiquitous, user-friendly network we know today. Instead, it was a domain reserved for academics, researchers, and tech enthusiasts who possessed the specialized knowledge and resources to navigate its complex landscape. Imagine a hidden world, buzzing with activity, but concealed from the everyday observer. Gaining entry required more than just a password. It demanded fluency in a language of arcane commands and protocols, akin to a very complicated handshake, a ritualistic exchange that only the initiated could perform. This wasn't your average social gathering. It was a gathering of minds operating on a different plane, speaking a different tongue. To use it, you needed to know complex commands, arcane incantations typed into blinking cursors on monochrome screens. Forget graphical interfaces and intuitive menus. The internet of yesteryear demanded a deep understanding of its underlying architecture. And it wasn't just about knowledge. Access also hinged on having access to expensive, specialized computers, behemoths of technology that occupied entire rooms and cost a small fortune. These weren't the sleek laptops and smartphones we carry in our pockets today. They were powerful machines, but intimidating and inaccessible to the vast majority of the population. It was not very friendly for the average person. The learning curve was steep, the interface unforgiving, and the overall experience often frustrating. Imagine trying to navigate a foreign city without a map or a translator. That's what it felt like to be a newcomer to the early internet. It was a world of cryptic error messages, impenetrable jargon, and a general sense of being lost in a digital wilderness. The promise of connection and information was there, but it was buried beneath layers of complexity and technical barriers. But in the late 1980s and early 1990s, a seismic shift began to occur. The seeds of change were sown, and the winds of innovation started to blow. The internet, once a closed-off world, was about to undergo a radical transformation, driven by the visionaries who saw its potential to connect humanity in unprecedented ways. The old guard, with their complex commands and specialized hardware, were about to be swept aside by a wave of accessibility and user-friendliness. And they changed very quickly. The pace of innovation was breathtaking, fueled by a combination of technological advancements, entrepreneurial spirit, and a growing desire to make the internet accessible to everyone. What was once a slow, deliberate process of evolution became a rapid, almost chaotic burst of creativity, as new ideas and technologies emerged at an exponential rate. The digital landscape was being reshaped in real time, and the world watched in anticipation. A British computer scientist named Tim Berners-Lee, a name that would forever be etched in the annals of internet history, had a brilliant vision. He possessed the foresight to see the internet not as a tool for the elite, but as a platform for global communication and collaboration. His ideas were revolutionary, his determination unwavering, and his impact immeasurable. He was the architect of a new era, the man who would unlock the internet's potential and unleash it upon the world. He was working at CERN, a large physics laboratory in Switzerland, a hub of scientific innovation and international collaboration. Surrounded by brilliant minds and cutting-edge technology, Berners-Lee found himself at the epicenter of a new wave of discovery. It was within the walls of CERN that his vision began to take shape, fueled by the need to solve a practical problem: how to facilitate the seamless exchange of information among researchers scattered across the globe. He wanted to create a simpler way for scientists to share information, to break down the barriers of distance and technical complexity that hindered collaboration. He envisioned a system where research papers, datasets, and experimental results could be easily accessed and shared, regardless of location or computing platform. This wasn't just about efficiency. It was about fostering a spirit of open collaboration and accelerating the pace of scientific discovery. He imagined a system of interconnected documents, a web of knowledge that spanned the globe, that could be accessed by anyone from anywhere with just a few clicks. This wasn't just about linking documents together. It was about creating a new paradigm for information access, a decentralized network where knowledge was freely available and easily discoverable. He envisioned a world where information flowed seamlessly, empowering individuals and fostering innovation on a global scale. He called his invention the World Wide Web, a name that would soon become synonymous with the internet itself. It was a simple yet profound concept, a web of interconnected information that could be accessed by anyone with a computer and an internet connection. The name itself evoked a sense of global interconnectedness, a vision of a world where knowledge was shared freely and easily. This was the game changer. This single invention, born out of a desire to simplify information sharing, would revolutionize the way we communicate, learn, and interact with the world. It was a moment of profound significance, a turning point in the history of the internet and the dawn of a new era of global connectivity. The world would never be the same. Tim Berners-Lee, in his brilliance, created 3 key technologies that made the web possible, the fundamental building blocks upon which the entire edifice of the modern internet rests. These weren't just incremental improvements. They were radical innovations that transformed the internet from a complex network into a user-friendly platform. They were the cornerstones of a new digital world. First was the URL, or Uniform Resource Locator, which is the address for each page on the web, like www.google.com. Imagine trying to navigate a city without street addresses. That's what the internet was like before URLs. They provided a unique and consistent way to identify and locate every resource on the web, from web pages to images to videos. They were the digital equivalent of street signs, guiding users to their desired destinations. Second was HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol, the language that computers use to send and receive web pages. It's the underlying protocol that governs the communication between web browsers and web servers, ensuring that information is transmitted accurately and efficiently. Think of it as the postal service of the internet, ensuring that your requests for web pages are delivered to the right place and that the responses are returned to you in a timely manner. And third was HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language, the basic code used to create the web pages themselves. It's the language that tells your web browser how to display text, images, and other elements on a web page. It's the digital equivalent of a blueprint, providing the instructions for building the visual structure of a website. Without HTML, the web would be a jumbled mess of raw data, incomprehensible to the average user. He also created the world's first web browser, which was a program that allowed you to see and navigate these pages, a window into the vast and growing world of the World Wide Web. This browser, though rudimentary by today's standards, was a revolutionary tool that transformed the way people interacted with the internet. It provided a visual interface for exploring the web, making it accessible to a wider audience than ever before. Suddenly, the internet had a friendly face. The command line interface, with its cryptic commands and intimidating complexity, was replaced by a graphical user interface that was intuitive and easy to use. The internet was no longer a forbidding landscape. It was a welcoming space, inviting exploration and discovery. It was no longer just about text commands. It was about clicking on links, those magical portals that transported you from one page to another with a single click of the mouse. It was about viewing pages with text and images, a visual feast that replaced the stark monochrome of the past. And it was about exploring information in a visual way, navigating the web with ease and discovering new and exciting content at every turn. The invention of the World Wide Web and the first browser opened the floodgates, unleashing a torrent of innovation and creativity that would transform the internet forever. The pent-up demand for a user-friendly internet was finally unleashed, and the world responded with enthusiasm and excitement. The digital landscape was about to be reshaped in ways that no one could have predicted. Soon, other, more user-friendly browsers like Mosaic and later Netscape Navigator were created, building upon the foundation laid by Berners-Lee and further simplifying the process of accessing and navigating the web. These browsers offered improved features, enhanced graphics, and a more intuitive user experience, making the internet even more accessible to the masses. The competition between these early browsers fueled innovation and drove the rapid evolution of the web. These new tools made it incredibly easy for anyone with a computer and a modem to surf the web, to explore the vast and growing world of online information and entertainment. The technical barriers that had once kept the average person away from the internet were crumbling, replaced by user-friendly interfaces and affordable access options. The digital revolution was underway, and everyone was invited to participate. The internet was no longer just for scientists and engineers, the exclusive domain of academics and researchers. It was becoming a mainstream phenomenon, embraced by people from all walks of life, regardless of their technical expertise or background. The digital divide was beginning to narrow, as the internet became a tool for empowerment and connection for people around the world. It started to move out of the labs and into our offices, transforming the way we work and communicate. Email became a ubiquitous tool for business communication, replacing faxes and memos. The internet enabled new forms of collaboration and productivity, allowing teams to work together seamlessly regardless of their physical location. The modern office was being born, powered by the internet. Our schools, revolutionizing the way we learn and access information. Students could now conduct research online, access educational resources from around the world, and collaborate with peers on projects. The internet was transforming the classroom, empowering students with new tools and opportunities for learning, and our living rooms. The family computer became a central hub for entertainment, communication, and information access. Parents could research topics online, children could play educational games, and families could connect with loved ones through email. The internet was transforming the home, bringing the world into our living rooms. Companies called Internet Service Providers, or ISPs, started offering affordable internet access to the public, making it possible for anyone to connect to the web from their homes and businesses. These companies played a crucial role in expanding internet access, building the infrastructure, and providing the services that enabled the digital revolution. They were the gatekeepers to the online world, connecting millions of people to the vast and growing network. The sound of a dial-up modem connecting, that strange symphony of beeps, screeches, and static, became a familiar sound in households all over the world, a sonic signature of the digital age. It was the sound of connection, the sound of possibility, the sound of the internet coming to life. Though often frustratingly slow, the dial-up modem was the gateway to a new world, a world of information, entertainment, and connection. This was the beginning of the internet boom of the 1990s, a period of unprecedented growth and innovation that transformed the global economy and reshaped the way we live. The internet was no longer just a niche technology. It was a driving force behind economic growth, creating new industries and opportunities. The world was on the cusp of a digital revolution. It was a time of incredible excitement and explosive growth, a period of boundless optimism and seemingly limitless potential. The internet was seen as a force for good, a tool for empowerment, and a catalyst for positive change. The world was caught up in a wave of digital enthusiasm, eager to embrace the possibilities of the new online world. New websites were appearing every single day, each one a new window into the vast and growing world of the internet. From personal homepages to online stores to news websites, the web was rapidly expanding, offering a diverse range of content and services. The digital landscape was being built in real time, brick by digital brick. Companies, newspapers, stores, and everyday people started creating their own online spaces, establishing a presence in the digital world and connecting with customers, readers, and friends in new and innovative ways. The internet was becoming a platform for self-expression, commerce, and community building. The rules of the game were changing, and everyone was scrambling to adapt. The internet was becoming a place to shop, a virtual marketplace where consumers could browse and purchase goods from the comfort of their own homes. E-commerce was in its infancy, but it was already disrupting traditional retail models and paving the way for a new era of online shopping. The convenience and accessibility of online shopping were transforming the way people consumed goods and services. A place to get news, a digital source of information that challenged the dominance of traditional media outlets. Online news websites provided up-to-the-minute coverage of events around the world, offering a faster and more accessible alternative to newspapers and television news. The internet was democratizing access to information, empowering citizens to stay informed and engaged. A place to connect with others who shared your hobbies, interests, and passions, a virtual community where people could find like-minded individuals and build relationships online. Online forums, chat rooms, and social networking sites were fostering a sense of belonging and connection, breaking down geographical barriers and uniting people from all corners of the globe. The internet was creating new forms of social interaction and community building, and a place to express yourself, a digital canvas where individuals could share their thoughts, ideas, and creations with the world. Personal websites, blogs, and online journals provided a platform for self-expression, allowing people to share their stories, showcase their talents, and connect with others who appreciated their work. The internet was empowering individuals to become creators and publishers, democratizing access to the means of communication. It was a digital frontier, a new and exciting world being built right before our eyes, a landscape of endless possibilities and uncharted territory. The internet was a blank slate, a space where anything was possible, where creativity and innovation could flourish. It was a time of experimentation and discovery, as people explored the potential of this new medium and pushed the boundaries of what was possible. The Secret Club was now open to everyone, and the world would never be the same again. The internet had transformed from a closed-off world into a global platform, connecting billions of people and empowering them with access to information, communication, and opportunity. The digital revolution had begun, and its impact would be felt for generations to come. The story of the internet is not just a story about technology, computers, and codes. It's a narrative woven with threads of human ingenuity, collaboration, and a relentless pursuit of connection. It's a tale that transcends the binary language of machines and delves into the very essence of what it means to be human in the digital age. We often think of the internet as a collection of servers, routers, and complex algorithms, but beneath the surface lies a vibrant ecosystem of ideas, innovations, and interactions that have reshaped our world in profound ways. It is a story about people, about their aspirations, their dreams, and their unwavering belief in the power of communication. It's about the visionaries who dared to imagine a world where information could flow freely across borders, connecting individuals and communities in unprecedented ways. It's about the countless individuals who have contributed to the internet's evolution, from the early pioneers who laid the groundwork to the present-day innovators who continue to push its boundaries. The internet is a testament to the collective human spirit, a reflection of our innate desire to connect, share, and learn from one another. It is a story about how a tool, born from military strategy, conceived in the depths of the Cold War as a means of secure communication in the face of potential nuclear attack, has completely reshaped our daily lives, our societies, and even the way we think. From the mundane to the monumental, the internet has permeated every aspect of our existence, transforming the way we work, learn, communicate, and interact with the world around us. It has democratized access to information, empowered individuals to express themselves and connect with others, and fostered a global community that transcends geographical boundaries. The internet has become an indispensable tool for progress, innovation, and social change. but it has also presented us with new challenges and responsibilities. The journey from that first LO message, a simple, unassuming transmission that marked the birth of the internet, to the always-on high-speed connection in our pockets, a ubiquitous presence that has become an extension of ourselves, is one of the most remarkable stories of human innovation. It's a story of relentless experimentation, groundbreaking discoveries, and the unwavering pursuit of a better future. It's a story that continues to unfold, with new technologies and applications emerging at an ever-accelerating pace, promising to further transform our lives and the world around us. The internet is not a static entity. It is a dynamic, evolving ecosystem that is constantly being shaped by the collective efforts of millions of individuals around the globe. This incredible network has become the backbone of our modern world. It's the invisible infrastructure that supports our economies, our societies, and our daily lives. It's the foundation upon which we build our businesses, our relationships, and our understanding of the world. Without the internet, our modern world would grind to a halt, our economies would collapse, and our societies would be plunged into chaos. The internet is not just a convenience, it is an essential infrastructure that is critical to our survival and prosperity. It has changed how we learn, opening up new avenues for education and knowledge sharing, how we work, enabling remote collaboration and globalized economies, how we play, providing endless opportunities for entertainment and recreation, and how we connect with one another in ways that the early pioneers could have only dreamed of. It has shrunk the world, bringing us closer together and fostering a sense of global community. It has empowered us to connect with people from all walks of life, to share our experiences, and to learn from one another. The internet has become a powerful tool for social change, enabling us to organize, mobilize, and advocate for causes we believe in. In this essay, we will go on a journey to understand this powerful force more deeply. We will embark on an exploration of its origins, its evolution, and its impact on our lives. We will delve into the technical intricacies of the internet, but we will also examine its social, cultural, and economic implications. We will explore the challenges and opportunities that the internet presents, and we will consider its potential to shape our future. We will start by traveling back to the very beginning, to the Cold War era when the seeds of the internet were first sown. We will explore the how and why behind the internet's invention, uncovering the motivations and the circumstances that led to its creation. Looking closely at the key people and the critical moments that turned a simple idea into a global reality. We will examine the contributions of pioneers like Vinton Cerf, Bob Kahn, and Tim Berners-Lee, who laid the foundation for the internet as we know it today. We will explore the development of key technologies like TCP/IP, the World Wide Web, and the browser, which transformed the internet from a niche research tool into a mass medium. Understanding where the internet came from helps us appreciate how truly amazing it is. It allows us to see the ingenuity and the vision that went into its creation, and it gives us a deeper understanding of its potential. It helps us see the foundation upon which our digital lives are built. It allows us to understand the complex infrastructure that supports our online activities, and it gives us a greater appreciation for the reliability and the resilience of the internet. We will unpack the history, not as a boring list of dates and names, something dry and academic that feels disconnected from our lived experiences, but as an exciting story of problem-solving and discovery that continues to shape our present and future. A narrative filled with fascinating characters, unexpected twists, and groundbreaking innovations that have transformed our world in profound ways. We will explore the challenges that the early pioneers faced, the obstacles they overcame, and the breakthroughs they achieved. Next, we will focus on you, the student, the digital native who has grown up in a world shaped by the internet. We will examine the profound impact the internet has had on education and communication, exploring how it has revolutionized the way we learn, teach, and interact with one another. We will look at how learning has been transformed, moving beyond the traditional classroom walls, embracing new technologies and pedagogical approaches that cater to the needs of the digital age. Think about online research, the ability to access vast amounts of information from anywhere in the world, virtual field trips, immersive experiences that transport you to distant lands and historical sites, and the ability to collaborate with classmates without even being in the same room, working together on projects and assignments regardless of geographical location. We will explore how the internet has opened up a world of knowledge, democratizing access to information, and empowering individuals to learn and grow, giving you access to information and resources that previous generations of students could only imagine. From online libraries and educational videos to interactive simulations and virtual labs, the internet has transformed the learning landscape. We will see how it has connected classrooms across continents, fostering a sense of global citizenship and shared learning, breaking down barriers and promoting cross-cultural understanding. But as with any powerful tool, the internet is not without its challenges. It presents us with a unique set of risks and responsibilities that we must be aware of. It has two sides, and it is important that we look at both, acknowledging its benefits while also addressing its potential drawbacks. In the final part of our exploration, we will honestly discuss the difficulties that students face in this digital age, the challenges that come with navigating the complexities of the online world. We will talk about the constant distractions of social media, the endless stream of updates, notifications, and messages that can pull us away from our studies and our real-life interactions. And notifications, the relentless barrage of alerts that demand our attention and disrupt our focus. We will address the problem of information overload, where it can be hard to know what is true and what is not, the overwhelming amount of data that can leave us feeling confused, anxious, and unable to make informed decisions. We will also touch on serious issues like cyberbullying and the importance of online safety, the threats and risks that exist in the digital world, and the steps we can take to protect ourselves and others. More importantly, we will discuss how students, teachers, and parents can work together to navigate these challenges, fostering a culture of responsible technology use and promoting digital well-being, so we can all use this incredible tool wisely, safely, and for our benefit, harnessing its power for good and mitigating its potential harms. By understanding the history, the impact, and the challenges of the internet, we can become more informed, responsible, and empowered digital citizens.